Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 827 of Eating a Sheet of Paper a Day. For those of you who are new here, hello. And for those of you who are old here, what are you still doing here, huh? You should have moved on from this gimmick. But, I mean, I'd be a hypocrite to say that, so should I. But alas, every single time I try to escape, they pull me back in. I'm never leaving this little square. And I will never stop consuming these little squares. This is inaccurate. That's a rectangle. And this is also a rectangle. What am I even talking about? Let me put my score down for the day. Which right now, I am honestly feeling it's a slight improvement. All right. It's a 6.7. I'm trying to be extra critical, but again, better than yesterday. Still better than average, even though on average I kind of bump it up to kind of boost the optimism in each stream so that I don't have people, leaving out of, I guess, fear of being exposed to too much pessimism on my part. So, I apologize. Also, I have to shit like really bad. So, we're going to make this kind of snappy. But we did have a really good half-hour long stream yesterday. So I feel like I filled up my quota for the week. Wait. Done. I'm being more tactful here because I was just so excited to get back into the paper reading fold that I was folding pieces of paper that were way too damn big. So now we're just doing it in thin, condensed strips. So this way, not only am I, going to save my cavity from exploding and ripping under the pressure of oversized pieces, but I'm also setting a good example for anybody who wants to disobey my big disclaimer of don't do this, because I'm a totally paid professional. But if you want to do it the right way, It's better to set a bad example by, setting the bad example the right way rather than setting the bad example the wrong way. It's like double whammy, double wrong, which does not make a right in this situation. I really have to shit actually. So it's making this stream drag on. Like I'm looking at the little time meter here and it says 2 minutes and 13 seconds. It felt like 8 minutes already, even though it's obviously not. But oh man, every second I'm not shitting. It's insane. I'm gonna make it so snappy. Plus, nobody's gonna go on stream. Today's a little bit of a dead season for YouTube. I notice it fluctuates, and it's a damn shame I stopped at day 825 before. And YouTube Studio calculated this 52 days. It's a damn shame they, I kind of stopped doing it because if I consistently stream, I have viral kind of flows here. And I really took for granted how cool that was, especially given kind of my anti-viral content I've been releasing on accident recently. So. Damn, there's like a sharp piece in there. Fuck me up. And okay, I think I'm gonna shit now. Hold on, I'll be right back. We can do a more productive stream. I should have actually. You know what I should do? I should type in. I'm booping. Fuck. Will God. Will be back soon. Damn. What a crazy bowel emergency. It just came out of fucking nowhere. Did you have dinner or lunch? Not yet. I will soon. What are you going to eat? What? Where are you going? What are you going to eat? I don't know. I might make myself a pizza. I'll wait until I'm hungry enough. Oh, okay. But I'll finish the stream and I'll probably be watching. There's a couple interesting YouTube videos that came out recently. Okay. Right. Well, I was gonna go to the store. I should just make stream still online? Nobody messed with it or anything like that? Okay. Perfect. Nailed it. All right. Excellent. Ian and Chai are able to sustain the stream by themselves without my help. What am I even doing here? Hello. Hey, how's it going, Chai? Good. You? Incredible conversation. I'm in film class and it's quite boring. What the hell's wrong with you? How is film class boring? What movie are they showing you? Paint drying, 7-hour edition? That's a real film, by the way. That's the first one I reviewed on my Joe the 34-year-old Letterboxd account. But I mean, I'm just curious. Most movies, even if you showed me like, what's that movie? 8.5. Like that movie was dreadful. But I mean, talking about it, deliberating about it. Although you're the kind of kid to sit in the back of class and I don't know, text his mother in the middle of class about film movements. Well, then in each film movement, there are examples of films. I find that exciting. But maybe I'm the weirdo. You have to make a presentation. You have to present and you're going to speak publicly. That's riveting. If anything, that would overstimulate one. So, I mean, I feel like just try not to have an aneurysm. I'm writing about Dogme 95. What even is that? Maybe I'm about to figure out why you're bored. Yeah, you can disconnect from the MacBook. That's fine. Dogme 95, excuse me. Let me just look this up. What is this? What am I looking at? Okay, there's a Wikipedia. Oh, I see. Danish avant-garde, Lars von Trier. Okay, yeah, Lars von Trier. Yeah, you could put what is it? The Bjork movie, Dancer in the Dark. You could write about that. You could write about all the Me Too movements that happened. That actually does sound quite boring, but you could find a way to make it interesting. If it's boring, man, that's on you. Because the most exciting classes I've ever been in were film classes, which is saying something, you know, because I was in world history. It's pretty interesting. I'm just sick of the teacher. That also makes a difference. Some of y'all just got to go to rate your professor or rate your teacher. But I mean, again, it's grade school. You guys get no choice, right? You're still in high school. I lose track of time. I don't know how old you guys are. Are you guys in your 30s yet? What's your opinion on all the plane crashes occurring since Trump's been in office? I've been hearing about plane crashes. Here's what I've been noticing. I notice that every year there are plane crashes. Now, unless you can tell me a significant number, an increase that's of plane crashes, right, that have been happening since Trump came in, then I'll believe this tall tale. I just think that people are really looking for indications of Trump's failure or indications that people are freaking out because they fear Trump's failure. All I'm seeing are just planes have been crashing for a very long time. In fact, there was almost borderline a similar thing where there were certain disasters and vehicles crashing into one another during the beginning of the Biden presidency, and then they made that a big deal. I do know that there was a whole thing about whoever crashed certain particular planes, and then Trump talked about the fact that the pilot was DEI hire. I have gotten no specific details. What should happen is I want to see specific details about the pilot because planes crash for many different reasons. Sure, there's incompetent pilots, but then there's also the people who are sending sonar messaging to the plane or the people who are in charge of warning about weather or, I don't know, the quantity of birds that could get sucked into the jet turbine. There are many different things. And so I acknowledge that it's highly possible that if you have a pilot school that accepts someone based only on their race and no other criteria, problems can arise, but that doesn't mean that's why the planes crashed. So I would have to see some articles. And I feel like in politics is all about not guaranteeing an actual critical thinking process, but guaranteeing a conclusion, a bottom line, a grand statement. Science and reasoning and evidence never guarantees a conclusion or a big epic grand statement or a bottom line, but they always do guarantee critical thinking. And so these two completely opposite fields, when they come together and people start applying science to politics or statistics to politics, things get very weird because I'm noticing there's a golden opportunity, especially when Trump is giving a speech like this, to actually give statistics, stories, numbers. That would make him a lot more convincing, especially to his voter base. It would help him in every way, and yet he doesn't do it. And I'm sure the statistics exist out there somewhere. This isn't a bald criticism of Trump, but I do think that he's missing a significant opportunity because I just don't think it crosses his mind, even though some of the things he says might not be based in fact, but a lot of things that he talks about actually are because people do their own research and find the statistics, and they're out there. They're public domain. So if they're there, then why doesn't Trump, make it a little easier and just highlight the statistic? It's just a shame. It's just a shame. So many missed opportunities that politicians do, But what do I know? I'm no politician. Maybe Maybe there's money being passed around or some other thing going on that I don't know about. But that's my opinion on the plane crashes. I don't really know about them. I borderline don't care about them, but it's just people finding a bunch of bullshit to complain about and then insisting that it has to do with this guy or that other guy or this thing or that fucking, DEI hire or whatever. Maybe, but I instead of all of the discourse, I'd like to see sources, which I'm not seeing. So, whatever. Twitter sucks. Okay, I'm glad people actually weren't puzzled about why I was gone because I was pooping, We'll be back soon. Did I lie? I'm back. And I think if I calculate this minute by minute, I think like 80% of the stream was me shitting and my mother washing dishes in the background. That's awesome. Not to worry, guys. We're going to start and end extra strong. I think this is too big, to be honest, here. Well, I hope that I don't know, your teacher catches chlamydia and then someone new comes in because yeah, it is true. As interesting as the subject matter of a class can be, if the teacher's bad, then what can you do? That's why Rate Your Professor is a very underutilized on my part resource because I could have researched this psychology class I'm in because psychology is so interesting, but this guy, he went on for an hour. This is how he sounded. Okay, so the brain is like a pizza. You know what the pepperoni is? Okay, who's going to raise their hand and tell me what the pepperoni on the pizza is? I'm like, that doesn't give us any information. It could be anything. It could be the hippocampus, but his answer was the neurons. And I'm like, yeah. Each pepperoni pizza I know has like 5 neurons. It's not to scale, but I get it. Maybe each neuron could be like I don't know, a grain of flour on the dough, but whatever. But here's the thing: instead of actually giving us, because he had these very elaborate and just extremely extended, drawn out analogies, just so he could nail home the fact that brains have neurons in them. Like that's what I'm dealing with now, Ian. You can't tell me that your teacher's worse than that. At least at some point during a film class, you have to watch a film, and in order to watch a film, the teacher has to stop talking. So. Yeah. So, you're making a presentation on this Danish film movement that you picked out. I haven't seen one film other than There Will Be Blood this year. So, for your assignment, you watched There Will Be Blood, one of the best movies ever. What in the world? How is that boring? To be fair, it's a bit of a slow burn, but man, it's a burn, all right. That movie is on fire. I love that movie. That was for our assignment. What was your assignment? Because you're saying we have to make a presentation about film movements, and you're talking about the '90s Danish film movement. There Will Be Blood's different from that. What did you have to write about? Like, what was the substance of this assignment? Because give me that movie, that specific movie. I've seen that movie 7 times, possibly 8. I don't really tally it all up, but we had to write an essay about it. It's so good. What did you have to say about it? I want you to here's my, God damn it. Let me put my email down there because I'd share your essay because I love that movie. I will read, watch, listen to anything related to that movie. It's all right. You mean the movie or you mean, your assignment? Caden gave it like 2 stars and said it was the most overrated movie ever. Well, you know what? Caden's an overrated person. I'm just fucking with you. But seriously, I just do not understand. Guy goes head over heels for Paddington 1. And yet with There Will Be Blood, he's like, yeah, it's overrated. I don't understand people sometimes. I really don't. It's pretty overrated. I stand with Caden. Detail that. Send your essay over to this email. All right. School's supposed to teach you how to make presentations. So present to me. Convince me because it's well done. There's a lot to be said here. My one critique is that people make Daniel Plainview to be the most complex, epic character. He really isn't. He's just a greedy dude. But it's more with so much less because it's like what he's doing. Or no, I said that out of order. It's less is so much more because the dynamic he has with these different characters and the fact that if you want someone to blame for the atrocities of mankind, Daniel is enabled by his world. every single terrible thing that happens to him. I mean, the guy was not dealt a very good hand, and you can tell he's got a lot of trauma. And the way it's presented, it does really interest you in him. And then people are surveyed, and they hate Eli more than they hate Daniel. And the way they feed into each other, without that dynamic, Plainview probably would not have managed to achieve what he did, especially given that negotiation at the beginning of the movie. What would you like, Eli? And he only lets the family, get completely exploited, and Daniel gets what he wants because he himself wants to build the church. And that's just the beginning of the movie. So much shit happens throughout the rest of the movie, stuff that I didn't catch on my first, second, or even third watch. All right, sweet. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate it. And not just that, you're dealing with some of the best editing, the best cinematography, the best acting performances of all time. I think that Paul Dano did so incredibly well. In any other movie, his performance would be the Oscar bait, or not Oscar bait, but the Oscar grab, right? He's not baiting, he's just doing his thing. But the movie is really just, it is so Oscar worthy. But I mean, everyone else is so at the top of their game. Like you have insane performances in an insanely well-made movie, really well written, fascinating, so much to think about afterwards. I guess if you're looking for a gangster film or a film with lots of explosions, you're not going to get a lot of those. And I mean, the reason I bring Caden up is because it really reminded me of a specific type of film criticism that is so reductive and hollow that it's like a parody of itself. Because he talked about how he didn't like Oppenheimer, and I'm not really a big Oppenheimer fan either. But I mean, sometimes you hate the right thing to hate, but for the wrong reasons. And what Caden said is like, I just don't. It was just a bunch of talking and a bunch of bullshit. And then he hated Killers of the Flower Moon because it's like, dude, it's just a movie about a bunch of oil. And then I remember I was talking with him in the paper stream about it, especially because, for one, the dude initiated and he actually just gave his feedback. And it's like, you can't expect to just say I don't like a movie and for me to not inquire. I mean, why do you even bring it up? So I can just sit there and listen and go, oh, okay, I guess that's the bottom line in the end of it. Now, of course, I'm going to ask questions. And so, he's like, Brian, I don't think that deeply about movies. If I just don't like something, I just don't like it. And I'm like, you see, this is why y'all can't even weigh in on important stuff like politics, because you have these opinions and you can't explain them. As citizens, it's our duty to analyze, look at things, and truly deeply understand it, even if it takes time, even if you have a process. But it's good that you're actually writing about it, because that certainly helps you actually get into not the logistical part, but the actual process of just even on a surface level thinking about it. Because I remember what Caden said was, it's just a bunch of people talking. Like, what? And I'm like, if that's all you got for the movie, then don't bother watching like 3/4 of all the great movies out there. If you need some fucking TikTok reel, flashed on screen every half a second, or someone jingling a set of keys, wake up, Caden. If it gets to that point, I mean, you're not going to get anything out of 95% of the great media out there. And I know Caden is not like that. So when I hear criticism like that, I don't think that indicates that he's stupid, or that whenever I hear it from anybody, I'm not going to say that means they're stupid. It just means that they're being dishonest. They just don't want to go through the hard work of actually explaining why they really don't like it, so that we can have a discussion. Because, I'm not going to say people are scared of getting into arguments with me, but when people do stuff like that, it sure as hell looks like they're scared of getting into an argument with me. And it doesn't need to be an argument. It can just be a discussion. Anyways, yeah, send me that essay. I'd love to read it. Great movie. And that doesn't mean that it's fact. It's just my opinion that I think it's really great, but it appears to be a universally held opinion. And I'm telling you, every single, like, if someone doesn't like something and it's easy to give good reasons for it, or we can all agree, it's like, sure. But I mean, if the only reason that you're giving as to why a movie is bad is the fact that there is too much hype surrounding it, that's not a real reason. That's just you weighing relatives. It's just, compared to all the hype, it's not that great. And it's like, compared to what? Your perception of what the hype was? Why don't you just look at it in a vacuum? And that just shows, I just think you're just buying way too deeply into that whole part of media. So I don't buy it. Not a real reason. That's really not a real reason to fucking, get on a movie's case. Talk about how it didn't grip you personally. Like personally, I didn't connect to this character or that character. Like, that's a little better. It's just a bunch of talking, bro. Like, what? That's so bad. It's actual just, I don't know. I feel like, especially in the last couple of years, it might be a post-COVID thing, not to bring COVID up, but It's just I think COVID was so strenuous that people are looking for any reason to kind of give themselves a break, and they think they're entitled to it, especially because every thought process is impeded by the presence of social media. That whenever someone's like, okay, I think I deserve a break, they're seeing other people on Twitter going, we deserve a break too. This was so stressful for us. The last couple of years were really fucked up. And then it just becomes a self fulfilling prophecy. Everyone's getting more stressed. They're remembering that era and naturally associating it with more stress. Like, come on, get fucking real. Get fucking real. What defines your recovery from any strenuous period in your life, it really is up to you. And if you're allowing yourself to buy into these nasty narratives, especially when you're being compartmentalized by opinion and you're seeing all these other people just say a bunch of the same shit to you, yeah, of course you're going to continue thinking that. But anyways, I want to read that essay. It'll be fun. I have two pieces, including the one on my mouth right now. So we're almost done here. But yeah, no, I'm sorry your teacher sucks. I'd love to meet him and I don't know, get into a Brexit debate with him. He seems like a nice guy. Okay, hold on. Oh yeah, and one more thing. I think when people imagine getting into a discussion with me, for one, I go a little too fast, a little too loud. I do apologize. Sometimes I talk a little too fast, and that's definitely not what I want to be. It's not like I'm going to take absolute pride in that because I think that is a bit of a flaw. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. Because why do I talk? I talk so I can be listened to, and if I'm unlistenable, then I mean like there's no point. So when I am discussing things with someone and we are taking turns, I actually slow down kind of like this, right? And it's the thing I'm actually been practicing for the last, like, I think 3 months or so. I've been practicing slowing down, and it's obvious that sometimes I get back into the old habit of, but I hope that that doesn't dissuade people from engaging because I do have a lot to say, but I'm also working on kind of slowing down, being a little more accessible and listenable. That's what I'm learning in Toastmasters, actually, which I'm don't tell anybody, but I'm running for president. So I think it'll be a not just a great practicing, but also kind of a good unlocking of the previously existing leadership abilities within me. So I want to get better, and I already think I'm not too terrible. So we're only going uphill from here. All right. That was day 827. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all tomorrow. That'll be day 800 or 700. Whoa. Did I say the wrong number? 828. Make sure to live, laugh, cry, and also not die. And until next time, this is goodbye. End stream here. I'm going to drink a beer.